Good morning, good morning, good
Yeah, top of
day,
the morning.
listeners
Flavius.
and viewers. Welcome to the Real Stuff podcast. And we are very, very happy to be back live with you. This morning, my co-host is Courtney. Courtney, how are you doing?
Yeah, well, I'm okay. Just feeling cold, you know. Out in the area, it's 31 degrees with freezing rain. So,
Oh, I know freezing rain. Not good at all. Well, I can tell you, you have been sending it down here to us. 'Cause last night was extremely cold. I mean, in Jamaican terms, extremely cold in Jamaican terms. But that's how it is. That time of the year, end of January, February, the coldest time of the year. So we have to just love it, We have to just deal with it. Yes, so we are off to a late start of the year. Now it's February, and this is our first live broadcast. So today upcoming and general hot topics today. Courtney, let me start off with you.
I think the hot topic in the world today is the Russia-Ukraine crisis. And I've seen that there are diplomatic efforts being made, with the president of France going into Russia to speak, and the chancellor of Germany going into Washington to have discussions. So, we think that things are being escalated because the Russian army is just like about 30 miles away, from Ukraine. And it seems like, there are real efforts to try and, don't let things escalate.
Well,
So,
I see America is sending a lot of arms over there.
yes, because America has sent troops out there, just to make sure, they are sending arms to arm the people.
Yes.
So I think, they do it with the belief that, well, the Russians will back off.
Well,
And I don't think the President Putin of Russia really likes, what he's seeing. So hence the diplomatic, talks and all of that.
well, I only hope that, good sense will prevail. That's very important. That, in the pandemic, we have a major war, it's really not good at all. And speaking about the pandemic, I heard the news last night, and in Jamaica, numbers have gone down dramatically. Our positivity rate in Jamaica now is 20 something, moving from about 70 a week ago. So I hope that can be sustained, and we look at it as good news. How are the numbers in the US?
Well, the numbers are decreasing in many places. And, and experts think that, this particular strain too is coming to an end. Although they claim that there have been discovered like a little lighter strain, which they name like, they give it like Omicron 2. But but the thing is that because I think a whole lot of more people are being vaccinated, because of the incentives that they are given.
Mm-hmm.
So so it's because I mean you're talking about a great population, population of billions, and if you can get 60% vaccinated, then, it's pretty close to their target of, the 70. So I guess things are coming around because, like, in my area, I've been like on the street a couple times, and I've seen, when I look and I see the buses and all of that, the buses are filled up. There was a time when they only carry X amount of people.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
but what is really interesting, I see, when I'm out there, I see people wearing their masks still, and
Well, I won't believe in mine.
What's amazing with what you're seeing in Jamaica, with Jamaica not being 30% vaccinated, the statistics kind of really, it seems strange to me. Because, would they be getting herd immunity, or, maybe there's a decrease in the effectiveness of the virus, yes. But
I think people are just a little bit more careful. That is my thinking.
But well, even in Jamaica, what was quite disturbing is this young man in Portmore, who has been alleged to kill his parents. And it seems like, when you look at the case, that this young man must have been, suffering from some mental issues.
Okay.
And you look at it, we realize how important mental health is, especially in this pandemic crisis, But part of the story
very possible. A couple of weeks ago or so, I heard. Go ahead.
Yeah, part of the story that I've read is because I think his father, being a minister of religion, must have some strict rules with, are, been like,
Yes.
Yeah, because let's say there are like the ways that the father spoke to him, this is from like the neighbors,
Mm-hmm.
It seems like, in Jamaican terms, him just get fed up by it and knowing that he was a big man now, or, and so, we have to investigate things like this because people don't know the psychological effect, that when you are part of a religious, certain kind of religious systems, and you tend to deal with your children a certain way. They grow up being, this, they're being traumatized, and them keep it internally, and there will come a time at some given time that you just let me explode. So, I think religious leaders should take and ministers should take a look at that. So what are your thoughts?
Mm-hmm. Well, after I'm hearing checked for in mental health, in a mental health fashion. They are now.
Okay, folks, I think we have some technical difficulties with our primary host, Flavius. So we'll just take a break for right now. Everything is okay?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Welcome back, viewers and listeners. Our internet went down. Our internet went down. But we are back up. We are back up. So, Courtney, what else is new or hot topics?
Well, our topics, African Cup soccer.
Okay, yes, let's speak about that.
Yeah, Senegal, well, we know Senegal won the tournament 4-1 penalties after a 0-0 stalemate. Yeah, but to be honest, I didn't watch the game or anything, and just look at little highlights.
Okay.
So, but speaking about soccer, what's happening in Jamaican soccer?
Now, before I get there, I'm hearing that Mane missed a penalty during the game.
Yeah, during the game, yes. Yeah, he missed a penalty.
And then he came back. He came back and scored in the shootout.
In the shootout, yes, he did.
And Salah didn't get a chance to shoot because he was too far down and his people missed.
So.
Yeah, it's a hard way to lose that game, really. A hard way to lose the game. Yeah, you were asking Jamaica now. Jamaica, in fact, I must tell our viewers that in our sports segment, we are coming back with our sports segment, Really Sports, and it's going to be extended with a number of features. One is going to be, we're going to have Winning Football, the Art and Science, with Flavius. And we're trying to organize a very unique show where we have one or two experts and our listeners can post questions to them via the YouTube chat. And it's a 2 minutes, they have 2 minutes to answer the question. So it's a 2-minute show. So we are looking to put that together pretty soon. But in sports in general, I heard something very, very fascinating over the weekend. The Jamaica swimming star, Olympian records for on her name now, who recently retired from competitive swimming, have said that she wants to give back to the sport, and not only to Jamaica, but the whole Caribbean region. So she's so she's setting up at helping the different teams in the Caribbean knowledge that she has. And it's a very, very commendable thing for her to do. You don't hear that every day. Somebody who has done well, who have got a lot from the sport wanting to give back immediately. What do you think about that, Courtney?
Yeah, man, that is a wonderful expression of gratitude, knowing that, this sport had, catapulted her into her destiny for one, and to her heights that, maybe, her preparedness, that she had done, had really granted her this privilege. So, and she, maybe just look at it and said, look, I've gained a whole lot out of this sport, and the way I can, give back is to share the knowledge that I've gotten, after competing in so many world, FINA games and all of that, she, and this is a wonderful expression. And surely, I know
Yes,
that she'll
and
do
if
great
I did
because
not,
of her personality,
yes, and if I did not mention the name, it's Ali Atkinson.
Yeah, I know it's Alia. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to ask you, put you on the spot now, Courtney. We're going to ask you to try and get her to come and speak to us about our new endeavor on the Real Stuff podcast. So, what contacts we can make. So we try and have her to tell us, our thinking and where she's going to start and when and all of that. I've heard her, being interviewed a number of times, and she's a very nice person to listen to, because she's very, very clear, and she knows exactly what she wants. And imagine you have you have a Caribbean swimmer with two world records.
Yeah.
And they say black people can't swim, What can I tell you? What can I tell you? But that is one of the highlights of the weekend, hearing that announcement.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they have other people in other sports who would be willing to do something like that.
Well, I think, well, we have to look at like the sports that the mass of people are really participating in, to do some work with that, because, just to go back a little bit about, the Jamaican football, when I heard the captain of the team, said that because, one of the things, why they couldn't compete as they should is because, you keep having additions to the team, and, there was no, compatibility and all of that. Because you look at it and you're playing against teams that these people have been playing for 6 years together, 5 years together, and all of that. You couldn't just have a little pickup team and beat them. So, it was a real valid point, and I hope,
You can't. It's impossible.
the
No matter who you pick
authorities
up.
look into it.
Now, what we need is some new authorities.
Yeah, because you look at like in our times growing up, you look at all.
I heard on the television, on the news, the president is saying one of the downfall. Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm here.
Hello? No, I thought
Yeah,
you were finishing off and saying, no, let me just say that I heard on the news the president of the Jamaica Football Federation is saying that one of the problems with the team is that they didn't get any support. So the other teams had support, and he got no support from anybody, including the government. And the Jamaica sports minister is saying, that's not true at all. They supported them. In fact, football in Jamaica got the most money from the government of all the other sports. And yet he's saying the reason for the downfall is no support. I don't know you see, Courtney.
Yeah, well, you know that you will have those back and forth conversation. But one of the things that, just to move a little bit further from that, I heard the coach, not heard, but I read this, that the coach trying to blame the players.
No, he didn't. He wasn't trying to blame. He wasn't trying to blame the players. He blamed the players.
Right. So, I mean, you say if like, I watch American sports avidly and all of that, and a coach, if things go wrong, the coach is the first to get fired, or and what I see that is not taking responsibility, because in sports up here, coach have to be responsible. Whether players go on the field and make mistakes or not, everything goes right back down to the coach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have coaches who come into teams just like for one season, and because him didn't have a winning season, although he was doing good, preparing the players, doing all what he can, and they fire him.
Well, I heard the coach last night. Apparently, he was guest speaker at a coaching clinic. And his statement, and I quote, him said, Jamaica have world-class coaches, unquote. I don't know how he could ever come to that conclusion. It's amazing what people say, They try and say things that they want people, they figure people want to hear.
Yeah, but what you have to understand with practical things or practical sports like that, rhetoric doesn't work. You have to go there, and to me, because how can you properly prepare a team when you just flying a person just to complete? That is just one thing, you to think about. I mean, the man hasn't been in training, hasn't been anything. You just hear of him or whatever scouting report you have on him, say, well, yeah, I can play. And what you have to understand too with Jamaica, there's a kind of culture that, with people who are grown in Jamaica, understand. You know what I mean? You say, all right, with football, we know that there are a whole lot of body languages and people may use it, but, being a footballer. But there are other things, that unspoken things that, these Jamaican players who are together understand. A person who is inserted into the team would not understand these things.
The bottom line, Courtney, which I said in 1998, I said, this is the worst thing ever to happen to Jamaica football, them making it to the World Cup. Why I said that? And I mean, I said it would put our football back 50 years. And I was so wrong, because it put our football back 100 years. Easily. You cannot start at the top. You have to start at the bottom and build up. Because when you're at the top, there's nowhere else to go. And that's exactly what happened to us. We just start sliding back down, 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 till we are back to the bottom. And we're still thinking about starting at the top again. We're not looking at starting at the bottom. For Jamaica football to get back even to where it was in its better days, we firstly have to get the youths to love the game again, because they don't know. You don't see football played anywhere in Jamaica unless it is competitive. And we need a different mindset of coaches and the federation. Qualifying with a FIFA certificate in coaching does not make you a coach. And people need to understand that. And to be a coach and to be a good coach, you have to make the game and the coaching your own. That means you have to come with your own ideas. And you have to understand people, how to get the best out of the people you have coaching. Not about going out there and just winning a game. You know, I heard a so-called big coach said once, you know, on an interview. In fact, I heard many of them say it. And it, you know, it really, really hurts me, you know. And what they said was, a ugly win is better than a pretty loss. That means I'm not interested in having the people play the game properly. If you try and do the right thing, eventually you will get it, you know, you will get it. But we're not getting it now.
Yeah, and you know, and what I look at too is about systems too, you know. Some, you know, sometimes because many of these players are like these great, you know, players that are in national teams. They're coming out of some great systems, you know, the clubs that they, and you mentioned something to me, you know, like with Germany, that most of the players, you know, majority of the players coming from one club, from Bayern Munich, you know, where, you know, they have a certain level of communications and systems in place. You know, so, you know, I think that's part of it too, you know. I mean, getting a proper system into place.
Well, we have to, and another thing, you know, another thing that came to me that I'm going to spend some time on in the sports section is the whole idea of Caribbeanism, especially in sports, and especially in football, where we are not seeing it. I mean, everybody can agree with me that Caribbean football is at its lowest ebb now, really low. And it's not Jamaica, it's everywhere in the Caribbean. Everybody was much better at one point in time. But the point I want to make now is that why are we so far apart in the Caribbean with football? And every other sport that we come together, we do well. You know, everybody know about the West Indies cricket team. They're not doing very well now, but they are still up there. But at one time, they ruled the world for more than a decade. Now, what has taken over that now, although they can't participate as one country, many countries, is track and field. And we are so close together in the Caribbean with track and field, where a few years ago, somebody came up with the idea that all our athletes going abroad to coach, to be trained and all that was not serving us very well. So we had track clubs formed in Jamaica, Many of them, and there's a lot more now because of the success of the first set. And they are now the best in the world. And many, many Caribbean athletes are coming to Jamaica to be trained. And that has served the region extremely well. In fact, what I'm seeing now, I'm seeing even student athletes are coming to Jamaica to attend school and to be trained at the level, because Jamaica school athletics program is by far the best in the world, you know. All the high-ups in track and field, everyone come to their championships every year, including, you know, the head of the Olympic Association and the Athletics Association, everybody, because the program is that good and we're producing world beaters. Cricket, you know, when we have a total togetherness in cricket, men and women, netball is fairly close together, but football, we are so far apart. I think that's something we need to look at, where players can train, you know, in different islands, exchanges and all that, and more competition between the islands. You know, starting at the schoolboy level. We don't have any at all.
Yeah.
I think that is totally ridiculous. I don't know, it's probably because of the high cost of travel, but we need a schoolboy and some. What happened after that? They should have a competition for the top teams to play, you know, a little competition with all the islands, and that will expose our players more. But we need to do something. We can't just sit down by ourselves and, you know, and everything is going down, 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 down. And the important thing, you know, is that you see when the standard go down and less people playing and less good results, the youngsters, they just draw away, you know. They find something else to occupy their time. And we really need to look at football at the lowest level. And before we move from this topic, I'm gonna just drop my most controversial idea of football in Jamaica. Football in Jamaica right now, from the beginning, from the lower level coming right up, is something I would call over coaching. And I will spend some time on that in future episodes where we start to speak. We need to look at that very, very seriously. How young should you start coaching? What level of coaching? What type of coaching? Because my belief, we are not allowing the young players to bring out whatever is inside of them as far as the game is concerned. From the start, they are told to do that, do that, do that. People are not allowing them to play. So they, you know, they can't bring out what's in their mind, what's in their body. And then when they bring that out, then you can start showing them a few other things to correct if they have some what you think will be false or whatever, and help them. But you can't put them in a regiment, in a straight jacket as they start. Nothing will ever come out. And the result of that is what we see now. No exciting players, no great players. Everybody is just doing a routine thing, trying to stop the ball and pass it and run. Nothing more. And they can't even do that very well. I think we need to look at that very, very carefully. Very carefully everywhere in the Caribbean. Yes, Courtney.
Yeah. Well, I agree with some of the points that you're making, because those points are valid points. These are things that maybe, the people from the various associations and things should look into and think about. Because, one of the things that I am just thinking about too is, the sort of system that you see like in the US. The college basketball players are filtered into NBA players or other places, other professional places, places where the sport is played. And so, same thing with the American football, same thing with the baseball. So, my question is, what kind of systems are set up? Like, when a youth are like an exceptional Manning Cup player, where does he go from there, Because more or less sometimes, colleges abroad see him and get him, to come to the US and play, sooner or later, some of these guys, become American citizens. I see, we see it in athletics, with Richards. When she went to the, she was running well, and no one from Jamaica considered to really keep her to run for Jamaica. So
Yep.
yeah, so we see, and we know too from athletics that many of our athletes, when they leave, they overwork them, overtrain them, because there are so many competitions going on. After a while, when Jamaica is ready for them to get to our Olympics level, they are burnt out.
Yep.
So, we need to look at these things and see what kind of systems we can do to help develop athletes. We know that money, the finances is always the thing, but there must be some kind of arrangements that can be made, just like how,
Yes.
we kept Bolt in Jamaica and kept Asafa Powell and Blake, we need to find ways of keeping, our other sport athletes.
Oh yeah. We had Sharon Simpson, Shelley and Fraser.
Yeah.
All those people never went overseas.
And what we see longevity, what I mean?
World beaters, man.
Yeah, world
For a
beaters.
long time, yes.
But you see the longevity that and the time they are spending in the sport.
Oh yes, definitely. Because
Yeah, man.
you can control the work that they do.
Right.
That's
Because
the thing.
you check the US. Very rare you have in a US athlete who go to 3 Olympics, I know maybe because of the competitiveness and all of that, and other rising athletes, but I'm saying that they don't last too long.
Yeah. That's it. Work, man, the work. Everybody wants to get as much out of them as possible.
Yeah, so.
But thank you, listeners. Thank you, Courtney. I think we're going to close it off now. And you have a little idea of what we're coming with. And we definitely will be live from now on. And, we are working on it so we don't have the glitch that we had this morning. But as we move on until tomorrow, we're going to ask Queen Lavafu and Tafino to take
You lead us so full. You belong far away away. Ajugwala lebobu seru. Lida mua, lida sungfula. Lida mua, lida sungfula.
Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.
All you gotta do is just speak. One word is enough, and I'm no longer so rough. I forget what I was trying to say. I no longer do what I was gonna do, but you're no good for me. That's why me know set me if it could flee. Me I fi take away me say. Me I fi take